People have forgotten why we decided to go to the moon. Russia was threatening us with their rockets and this high technology, so Kennedy came up with this plan. He says, we choose to go to the moon. It was to leapfrog the Russians and get there first. So anyway, this video is about Rocketdyne. It's a North American aviation Rockwell facility. It was located in Simi Valley and at the San Jose site. This shows the F1 engines that were tested and made there, and the different sites that they had at that particular place. It shows some testing and the types of rockets that were made there for the Apollo. F1 was the largest one. There's a scale there to show you the size, and the H1 is another one. There's another scale for sizing, and the J2 engine, and show a fellow there, and the solid-state ullage motor, and the RCS rockets, and those are used with the Apollo for guidance. These are different views of the actual equipment at that particular facility being made and put together, and it has all the components that went into that particular rocket. This one is being tested, and it has close-up views of these rockets on carts to give you an idea of what they look like and what was going on. This is a side view of one of the rockets on the cart. Another view of the rocket in the car on the cart. And so one of the guys taking a picture of one of the rockets being installed somewhere. And these are some of the smaller rockets that were used on the bird. Anyway, this particular site is for the S2, and it shows all the people that worked on it. There was quite a bit of people that was in there. This photo was given to me by Frank Cooper, and he's had, I blew it up so you could see all the personnel that were involved in there. These things, when they were tested, they made a lot of noise. They made a lot of rocket and fumes and whatever, and they had a control room that controlled all this stuff. This is a picture of one of the consoles, and this is the actual control room doing the test. I showed different views of the equipment and the people working there, and they were quite busy during the test. These are examining some documents that were required for that particular rocket test, and they're monitoring the results of the rocket. And the fellows, again, they're discussing some instruments. This was an earlier one used for a different one, not the, this is a mission control center where these guys were actually up there trained. And this is the war room. War rooms, there's two different war rooms, I guess, because there's two different views. They're completely different. And these are some photos that I took from the Skyrider, which a Rocketdyne Skyrider. They had a newspaper, a company newspaper. They called it the Skyrider, and the different divisions of Rockwell had their own. And this particular was called Rocketdyne Skyrider. And they show some pictures of guys installing some equipment, and there's another inspection. And some of the people that work there, and these people and this is a piece of equipment that we used for testing. That was the fire department that was used there, and one of the gals checking up the film that there was used. And at that time it was new, the graphics monitors. And there's some Atlas rockets that were being tested at the same time. There's a view of the J2 rocket and the H1 rocket. And this is some fellows are showing. Now this is the badge we had there, and all the different facilities use the same type of a badge. And this will kind of give you a view of some of the power of this particular F1 rocket. And there was a display that was done somewhere, and you guys showed it in the paper. And these fellows are giving different awards. And this particular fellows, I don't know exactly what those positions were, but they were included with all the Apollo, the Rocketdyne stuff. some strange equipment in there. And this is the rockets that are being sent up and being shipped off to other places. I thought I'd show these rockets that were being displayed at in Texas and at Houston, and it was an interesting place. I went to that particular there, and then it was called a place called Rocket Park, and they showed the equipment that you actually could touch them and examine them. So here's the visit. Okay, this is a Rocket Park. That's a Rocket Park building, and it's great. They have a Saturn V rocket with the Apollo mounted on top in there, and it's laying on its side. And it's a huge building, and you get to walk through the whole. You can see the rocket all the way through, and they have this hallway here that has the different missions that were there. That's a mission 17, Apollo mission 17, 16, 15, etc., all the way down to 1. And walking through, they have displays on there about the different things. Now this is on the other side of the rocket, and it's a little display booth there, and it has the moon, and they show the orbit that went from the Earth to the moon and back. So, and here's a picture of the Apollo. It's got the escape rocket on top, and this is the real deal. I don't know if it's probably just a mock-up, but it's still impressive. This whole thing, I don't know if it's an actual. I think it's an actual one, not a mock-up. It's still got all this wiring and stuff in it. So I didn't really look at the information if this was a mock-up or the actual rocket being used. It looks like an actual rocket, and we got a lot of them back in the day. They're expensive, but they did the job. There's the different sections. They had different stages on there, and that's the second stage there. It was made by Rockwell, and it had 5 rockets in the back. And now this is the first stage, and that was made by Boeing. And they had this shows the sizes. It takes up almost the entire room there. We've got pictures of the rocket itself in the back, and I took some different views of it so you can see what the rocket looks like. They're big. They're really huge. I should have had somebody stand in front of it so you could see how large these things are. And during launch, they make a lot of noise, and they make a lot of smoke and a lot of fire. This is I think this is the second stage. They're showing the front of it. And here's an F1 engine that was used on there, and to show you the size, there it is. This is a yard that's adjacent to the Rocket Park building, and they had some rockets outside. And this is Little Joe. Little Joe was used for testing with boiler plates, and they test different things on the Apollo boiler plate. Boiler plate is just a replica of the actual bird, and it does everything made the same. And that's kind of a little explanation about the boiler plate. And the boiler plates were used for testing. They dropped them on the ground, and they swim off planes, and they put parachutes up. Now here's a rocket again. I don't know which one. It might be the F1 again. And they were launched in these spacecraft and different things. These are pictures of the astronauts that first landed on the. This is the Apollo 11 crew, first people to land on the moon, and Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. Actually, 2 of them landed. The other one kept circling around on the spaceship. This shows one of the astronauts planting the flag on the moon with a limb behind them. And this is a photo. Years later, one of our satellites circling the moon took these photos, and it shows that the flag and the lunar module are still there. So it's quite impressive shots there too. This shows the astronauts' 6 landing points that were there, and again the planting of the flag. One girl summed this whole thing up. Barbara Menifee said, "It'd get up there and back, didn't it?" It sure did, Barbara. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching, and thanks for spending your time here. Goodbye.